Hello and welcome to the market update today. Today I'm going to do a market update that's a little bit different because I'm going to add in a couple of other factors that I don't normally talk about in these videos. So we're going to talk about the stats for the Vancouver Island or Southern Vancouver Island real estate market, but we're also going to talk about today's interest rate announcement from Bank of Canada, as well as a little bit of the larger global economic factors. And I'm going to try to link all three of them together for you to help understand a little bit of what we can expect from the spring market that's basically on our doorstep right around the corner here. So first off, I'm going to go over the numbers for February and the stats for how we closed off the month of February. We had 2,636 sales in the Greater Vancouver real estate market in February. We had 528 net unconditional sales, and we had 1,154 new listings hit the market. So that previous number, that 2630, that is the total active listings that we closed off the month of February with. And what I'm going to mention is that currently it's March 12th, and currently on the market we have 2,746 active listings on the market. And the reason I'm kind of bringing that number into the February market update is because it's an important number to be keeping an eye on. It's basically an uptick of 117 homes on the market. I don't have the final numbers for the final sales for March yet, and I don't have the final numbers for the active listings that hit the market in March. That's going to come up. But the reason I wanted to give you that quick active listings number is because we are seeing that uptick or that trend upwards in available inventory starting to come onto the market. So that's number one. That's sort of the statistical local environment. Number two is the Bank of Canada interest rate announcement. This factor is important, and normally I would be hailing the interest rate drop with a big hallelujah. But obviously the market conditions are a little bit tenuous because, as we'll talk about in a minute, there are some global economic factors that we have to keep an eye on as well. But straight up interest rate talk, we have the Bank of Canada announce an interest rate drop of 0.25 points. So that's really great. Usually the interest rate drop would bring more active buyers out of the market. It is going to at least add a little bit more affordability into buyers' pockets, which is typically what interest rate drops do. So increasing buyer availability a little bit is important, is what this interest rate drop will do for those buyers who want to take advantage of variable rates, or also banks who are going to be adjusting their rates to kind of compete or kind of take advantage of this quantitative easing in the policy. Then the third thing that we have to obviously take a look at or consider is that we have this uncertainty with, our trade policies from down south, tariffs and things like that. So what that is doing is it's adding an element to our market. There's anticipation of potential construction costs going up because of tariffs and other costs and material costs potentially going up. And so I think all of this together, the part where we kind of string a thread through it is that normally the interest rate drop, I would say, would lead to more of a seller's market this spring. But because we're looking at it through the context of what's happening with trade and what's happening with tariffs and things like that, we can't just draw that fine line in the sand the way we would normally be able to. So what I think is going to happen is the available buyers that are available to purchase inventory that's coming on the market is going to be at a slight uptick, particularly in the Victoria area. I don't think it's the same for the rest of Canada, and even the mainland, like the Lower Fraser Valley, is not seeing the strong unit sales that we're seeing on Vancouver Island. So what this means for the market as a whole is we're going to have to keep an eye on the active listings number. We have to keep an eye on whether or not that's trending upward and how much further up it will go. So keeping in mind that the summer of last year, we saw inventory levels as high as upwards of 3,400 homes on the market. And we typically hit market saturation with active listings around the summertime, but the number did get quite high last year. So we started off the year with low inventory, strong buyer activity because of the interest rate drops that we were seeing consecutively and consistently from Bank of Canada. We're seeing further interest rate drops. And the only thing that's different is, of course, the economic environment with the US. So that's kind of it's obviously the curveball that we're seeing in our numbers. Otherwise, I would say that we are going into a very, very hot spring market with strong buyer activity. That being said, Greater Victoria is experiencing higher levels of activity this year than we did last year, despite the news, despite other factors. So as long as the absorption, so as long as buyers are buying the additional inventory that's hitting the market, I think the strong sales trend is going to continue through the spring market. That's my summary. There's obviously lots to unpack in all of that. I want to keep this brief and digestible, but if you have any questions on how this is going to impact you personally or your property or your purchase personally, please feel free to reach out. I would love to give you advice that's tailored to your particular situation.